You would figure that the questions would come, wouldn't it? Okay, so Pastor Dowell, what are your thoughts on home carry? Home carry. Well, I can tell you right now that I personally probably maybe 50% of the time I usually carry a gun around in my house. And probably the other 50% of the time I'm usually within arm's length of a firearm. And that's at all times, even in my home. Even in my home. And of course, I understand what people are going to say. Believe me, I get it. You must be paranoid. You must be afraid. Somebody who's coming to get you, who's all this and all that. You know, I truly, truly wish that we lived in a time to where we could trust our fellow man, and where benevolence has always operated, and where I could, just be so comfortable in believing that nobody is actually going to truly come and physically do me any harm. How many people do you know or have known? How many people or have heard of that they were sitting in their house and then someone decided to come in and wanted to take what they have, and they end up getting shot and killed over stuff? They're a statistic now. I live in a redneck country environment, and the majority of the people of this town has proved their sentiments towards me. Number one, they don't like me for the color of my skin. And then number two, they hate me because I'm an Israelite and I don't believe in all their pagan Christian practices. And quite often, I have people drive down this public road, turn around, and holler out all types of disparaging comments. A few times I've gotten them in trouble with the law enforcement. And I'm not just so sure that when one of them come down here, that they're not going to fire around, because if they do fire around and I'm here, and that's one reason why I'm at the front of the gate. And there's another reason why I have this type of home at the front of the gate. But if I'm here and around this house, I will not feel sorry in returning a superior rate of fire, a superior rate of force, and eliminating the threat so that it will never, ever, ever come down here and threaten my homestead, my lifestyle, or the people that I love ever again. So maybe I could clack my heels together like they did in The Wizard of Oz and wish to go back to Kansas where home is just so sweet. I'm not one. As a matter of fact, I told you, I got one sitting right here. Always within arm's length. I don't care if I'm in the living room sitting down watching a movie with the family. I always have a firearm within arm's length. In my vehicle, it's always either on me or beside me. At night when I go to bed, it's beside me. I always have a weapon, always. And usually in my house, and it's been that way ever since my children were very small, coming all the way up. Weapons laid around everywhere. There was a weapon in every single room, and they knew where it was, where they were, and they knew how to operate them. They also had respect for those weapons because their father would take them out back and teach them firearm safety. And I would teach them how to shoot. So they had respect for the weapon, and they knew exactly how deadly it was because I took the time, the energy, and the effort to educate them. And I've never locked my weapons up in a safe to where my children, in case somebody did, or my wife, wanted to come down and threaten him, they would have to go through the painstaking task of getting a combination, grabbing the magazine from one place to another, loading it up, and then possibly being able to return fire before they get eliminated. Well, we have a total different philosophy in my house. I have a total different outlook and perspective than a lot of people, and I do think that mine is probably a hell of a lot better than most. So no, I actually home carry. Yes, I do. Even if I'm on the land, every brother on his land is required to have a firearm on them at all times. Even our sisters carry on the land, even in the garden or in the kitchen cooking. You come here, you probably just see something like you just wouldn't believe. You just wouldn't believe. You'll be thinking, what in the world is going on here? Well, I do know one thing. An armed people is a free people. And you're not going to sit there and rule and dominate and control someone as long as they have the liberty and the freedom in order to be able to defend themselves. That is the truth. And that's the truth straight way. So my philosophy is maybe different than the rest of the world. I believe the Constitution. We have enemies foreign and domestic. And myself personally, my advice to you is that you take it from this old veteran right here. You probably should adopt the same principles, the same attitude, and the same perspective that I have. And you probably want to make sure that you train yourself and educate your mind to get into the same frame of mindset. And I'll end this video by saying you do not get to pick the day, the time, or the hour when evil comes your way.